Kiki, and thank you for joining me on this tiny little corner of the internet for me to be allowed to talk about books, specifically these 3 books. I'm going to first talk about Packing Sweet. This is book 3 of Jacksonville Ray's novels. Packing Around and Packing Wild, book 1 and 2. It's so annoying, it doesn't flow. Don't you hate that? This cover is cute, but just doesn't flow. Hate that part. Book 1, I love book 1 the most. This one took forever. This was such a slow burn, like 300 pages of nothing. If you're coming into a book for smut, you want smut. We don't want a slow burn and be waiting for it to come. And when it comes, it doesn't. Wait, sorry. I just don't worry. I just need to get my head out of the gutter. The smut kicks in like halfway through. This book is chunky. It's 600 pages. Why does it take us so long to get in it? I don't know. It didn't take that long in the first 2 books, especially not in the first book, if you know what I'm talking about. It is about the girl Poppy, and she is a PR girl for the hockey team. And so we having a little bit of a love triangle thing going on, where they're like, you know what? Screw the triangle. We're going to become one. I started reading it, to be honest, weeks ago, and I was like, when the first scene hits of the spice, it wasn't even that spicy considering what Emily can write. I was like, Emily, what's wrong, girl? You're dropping the ball here. And I was a bit disappointed, and I was like, okay, I need to put this down. I'm not in the mood to read this anymore because spice is not spicy. And I picked it up back this weekend. So I picked it up on Friday and I finished it all on Saturday. So literally I was like, not even 50%, like literally finished, like I was like 160 pages in or something. Like 70% of it I finished in, let's say, one day, because I started on Friday night and finished it Saturday afternoon. Give this 3.5 star. It's not my favorite. Book 1 is still the one that I rave about. And like I said, I personally don't like slow burn, but this just too slow. The little banter that was going on between the characters was a little bit boring, to be honest. And a little plot twist she added towards the end of the book was actually pretty good. I do feel sorry for Poppy. I feel like this girl has a lot going on in her life. She's got a lot of problems with her family. Like, her family's assholes. Like, they don't get her. They're not supporting her in any way. And in some sense, some things with this is kind of relatable, but I just kind of feel sorry for her. But it's funny because the way she's described, you think this girl got her life together. You think she's super confident, and you know, her love life must be like she's dating all the time, and I mean, she's got this PR job that she would be going out to all these parties, but it's not like that at all. So this is a case of don't judge a book by its cover. And the same goes for the guys. They, you know, one guy is like kind of like more of a softie, and another guy is a player, and they're all kind of meshed together. So there's completely 3 different personalities going on into one. Would I recommend to read this book? Yeah, I'll probably, out of this series, I would recommend reading book 2 first, then book 3, and then book 1. Or you can skip book 2 and 3 and just read book 1 for the spiciest, smuttiest, you know, if you're in that mood. If you want a little bit of a slow burn going, easing you into the spice of these 3 individuals, then I would say you'd probably like it. I was kind of like, I don't need the plot. I'm here for the party. Just drop everything else and just give me the good time. Okay, so when I was done with this, I moved on to Bookshops and Bone Dust. Originally, I got this book in this random evening shopping trip to Big W, where I literally purchased like 20 books at least. And it's in one of my videos where I just had an accidental bookshop. And I pulled this book out and I was like, it must be fantasy, like looking at the cover you'd think. And I was a bit confused who this person was. And I felt like reading something like fantasy, but I didn't want to like build this whole world in my head, and I DNF'd it. And then I started Googling and looking at the reviews, and many people said that this book is not as good as book one. I mean, that's when I realized I messed up. I thought that Legends and Lattes was book two. That's actually book one. And this is book two. The picture wasn't on the cover. I would be like a dog with an owl face and a mouse. And this person didn't even, I don't know, maybe I missed it, but wasn't even explained that they were green. I was like, who is who and what is happening? Some people said that you can read book two without having to read book one. But I'm thinking maybe if I read book one, I would understand it better, because apparently book one is really good. Okay, maybe it's not fooling me because I'm reading these characters. I get what is kind of going on, and I get what's happening with Viv. But Viv is one of the main characters. I'm guessing it's this person. And I was kind of like, I don't get it. I DNF'd it for now. And it's about this book. Let's just say what it is. It's about this book, Viv, and she has a wound, and she ends up in this town where she can't do much movement. She can't do like her fighting and stuff like that. She ends up making friends with this other person, the owner of this old bookshops, and I ended up at the part where she practically helps them renovate it. Now there's other characters that come in. I don't get what the point of those characters are there. I'm not really sure. Maybe I'm just still missing the plot because I'm only halfway through. Kind of didn't understand the purpose and the plot. And I'm like, maybe there is no plot. Maybe it's one of those really like cozy reads. DNF for now. The next book we read was, I mean, the cover, the Blanket Cats. I got this in that massive book haul from my other video as well, because my goal is to complete as many books as I can from that haul. Okay, and this is one of them. First of all, I got this because I love cats, I love plants, I love books, I love coffee, I love turquoise, and I love the gold. This whole cover sold me. Then I realized this is a Japanese bestseller. This is a translated Japanese story. It's not one novel, it's a collection of short stories. The point of this actual book is that there's a person who has a shop full of cats, and you can actually rent them out, but for no more than 3 days. So 2 nights, 3 days. And usually when you come through, the person kind of looks at you and helps you up to pick your cat. The thing that I loved about this is a perfect palette cleanser, especially if you're reading between like fantasies, or right now I'm in the middle of reading this thrillers, and I'm like, this book would have came in so handy if I just like between books read one short story and then put it down, and another short story and put it down. But I ended up reading this whole thing in one go, and it's almost 300 pages. Super easy read. Each short story has its own message, and the way it's hidden, I don't know how they did that. They tell you a story for those 3 days while the cat is there, and each family going through something, and the cat is kind of like, the cat is not primary focus. The way they made it is that the cat is kind of like helping them kind of figure themselves out of the situations. And the story without giving you, and in the end they'll live happily ever after. It was nothing like that. It was literally like, boom, done. And then you have to decide how you end their story, like how you would figure out. There's a few of them where I'm like, I can actually imagine what would have happened in the end. And some of them are like, oh, it ended? Oh, okay, well, I guess it's that then, but not in a bad way. This is the book where I feel like you can't even put stars on it because like kind of rated because it's short stories, but they're short stories into one book for like all the cats from the shop. I think I would give it maybe 4.5 star because it's something out of the ordinary. I actually never read anything like these. Short stories make you think. I think I like the first one, The Cat Who Sneezed, and I like The Cat with No Tail. If you read this book, which story did you like? The second one, The Cat in the Passenger Seat, wasn't too bad, and I kind of liked the scene at the end, what happened with the cat. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Life-changing experience, you know. So, and I love this saying at the back. It says 30 days might not be enough to change your life, but it might be enough to change how you see it. And after reading this book, I'm like, I can totally understand what they're talking about. So it's not like life-changing, but you look at it different. That's what it is, yes. You look at things differently. I am just going to conclude this here, and I'm gonna get on to reading my next set that I have. So this is a collection for my weekend. This is what we've been doing. So I would like to thank you guys for joining me for another little chatty chat, and for taking the time out of your day to join me and just like listening to me rant about books. Random books. If you have any recommendations, can you like let me know, because sometimes I'm bamboozled in what I want to read next. I'm gonna go. All right.